Me, which is actually ran by the brainchild of MASH, Ezo MASH. We have We Want Jet Set Radio Future HD, which is Two Worlds, and I believe Jabro also has a hit in that as well. So we're constantly looking into both kind of having the channel active from an online marathon perspective to kind of give people a reason to follow the channel along with the on-site stuff. And even right now, we have the Mystery Puzzle Challenge tournament ongoing, which is basically something I've not invented, but kind of started up myself with the folks over at Puzzle General as well, which I'm part of. And we kind of just started a mystery tournament that's all puzzle games, but because I'm in both communities, we've kind of combined our efforts and are running the tournament on NAS itself just to try something out new. Maybe people will enjoy the tournament, maybe they don't. We'll still kind of trying to figure that out, but we're always trying out more stuff, but the main focus is still on the big marathon. So
cool. Well, that's I wanted to ask next. Like, you also very recently started a podcast, No Major Opinions, with the guys from an ASA. So is that kind of also, is this a way to spread the word out a little more? Or
exactly, it's more just trying to keep the channel active, more an outlet of ourselves to talk and get people on and just kind of grow the channel, and really just casting a semi-large net, trying to see what sticks, and kind of, if it's working, kind of start focusing our efforts in that direction.
Oh yeah, so your last show was with Fiesel. That was a really good one. I like that a lot. You guys, it's really like chill show. It's like chill, and like there's topics and you just kind of talk about it, right? There's no kind of set topic for each kind of show, right?
Yes and no. There's a lot of freeform that goes on with it. We'll have some baseline questions that we ask, and there's a little spreadsheet where we have questions that we prep beforehand. So, but oftentimes we will go on tangents and talk about stuff. So.
yeah, that's the magic of it, though, for sure. So the first time I ever actually contacted you, I don't know if you remember, was Edenall sent me to you to talk about how much it would cost to do an event, and that event was my idea for an event, which is speedrunning tournament for money, right? And I asked you, how much you think it would cost and stuff. You gave me some like rough, like, well, if you have this, just kind of rough stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, so what about that? Do you think there is a place in speedrunning for a tournament that is for money, right? So it's not about the charity. It's not about, we're not raising money for anybody. We're having an event where people can win money for themselves to put in their own pocket based on their speedrunning skill. What would you think about that idea?
I think that there is definitely a place for a kind of like a tournament, a speedrunning tournament with a prize pool of some kind. I know that the community has tried something before with that, but it never really kind of came off the ground and everything like that. But considering that there's tournaments for fighting games and for MOBAs and everything like that, there can definitely be a tournament itself for any game, really, that also has a prize pool. It's just, I think that the speedrunning community, it's kind of old-fashioned in a way. I'm only recently now is the community kind of branching off and kind of extending and doing things differently than before, with the rise of like speedrun.com leaderboards and Twitch streaming and everything like that. So there's definitely a place for it. I just don't know what it would take to get it to have the reception that it probably needs.
Why do you think that is, though? Like, why is there such a... Let's be real. Like, a lot of people that are the biggest speedrunners make their living speedrunning by getting money from people donating to them and subbing to them. But when you bring this idea of a kind of cash prize for something, for a hobby, people kind of think it takes the magic away. Like, oh, this is some pure hobby, and you're taking out the magic of that hobby. But every hobby is almost every hobby can have there is some kind of element of, if you do it the best, you get money for it, right?
I think it's really just with speedrunning, it's quote unquote like a hobby, amateur type stuff. Nobody has a real definition of what it would be to be a professional speedrunner, because if you're a professional speedrunner, it's your full-time job, right? So what does that kind of entail beyond just Twitch streaming? Does that involve being an expert in your field? Does that involve doing anything outside of your Twitch streams? It just, when it comes to money as well, it's also like the whole, well, this person's clearly the best, so they should only get the money because I only want to watch them. I don't want to watch anybody else, even though they could probably be better, anything like that. It's the whole persona thing. It's honestly, it's just for whatever reason, the communities being as fragmented as they are, they just kind of have their own different ideals on everything, and there's no togetherness for anybody to kind of come on to a concise decision about anything.
And especially because we have this 2 Super Bowls a year for the speedrunning community, which is the GDQs, and they're so based on charity. I think that doesn't help things either for something like what I want to do, because people think, oh, it's a huge event for speedrunning. Yes, it's a charities and it's a great thing. We're raising money for charity, which of course raising money for charity is a good thing, but I don't think it has to be everything. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, even with the event itself, with NASA and everything, I've read opinions on places on social media that apparently the marathon is a waste of everybody's time and efforts because it doesn't raise any money. It should be raising money. People were offended at the fact that we have an audience and people are showing up, but we're not raising money for a charity. And it just brings up the idea, like, why does anything involving speedrunning need to be associated with a charity? Why can't the two be completely separate things? Just you don't have to have a marathon and immediately have to figure out some charity to donate money for it. You can do a charity stream, or you could do a normal stream. They don't have to be interconnected.
Yeah, it's like the weird thing where if you kind of push that point, it's like it's kind of like you kind of can come off like an asshole. If you're like, we don't have to do anything charity, we don't want to do anything charity for this, but it's like, well, why not? It's like I think it's totally normal. Like most things in the world are done for charity, right? Like it's a kind of a unique thing to do something for charity, which GDQ has obviously built a huge space in the online gaming world based on that charity, but that doesn't have to be everything. So that's what I'm trying to. Hopefully I can make it happen for sure. So it would be really cool. One thing on though, because you just had Feasel on your podcast, and he has that speedrunning is it called speed? Make sure I get it right. Speedrun gaming.
Speed gaming, yeah.
Speed gaming. So how about he's talked about tournaments and stuff. I think that would be a great link up there. NASA has some tournaments for speedrunning game. That'd be a good idea, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I even talked a bit with Feasel and told him if he ever needs somebody to talk to about on-site tech stuff to give us a shout, because I mean, there's probably only a couple groups who could really feasibly do a stream of that size and caliber at this point. It's not really knocking the smaller people, but there's so much that goes into doing so many inputs on a stream. I remember when we had the ability to do DreamHack Montreal, and we couldn't bring our own desktop because of travel purposes. We already packed Lurk's car with like a CRT TV and everything else that we were going to bring, like a big Tupperware of cables and dongles and all that stuff. So we had DreamHack provide us with their Alienware desktop, and they got us some Elgato external capture cards on USB, and it was not a fun experience. Those things are really literally only designed to be used one at a time. So I had to use my own AverMedia Live Gamer Portable alongside it. Then we had like a Dazzle chained in, and it was just a mess. If you're doing one capture at a time, you can kind of get away with the consumer stuff, the general, become a Twitch streamer equipment. But as soon as you start getting into doing just like even 2 or more, you have to start getting into the bigger equipment. And I mean, even GDQ has mentioned that, they were hunting down a really long time until they found the capture card that they were happy with using consistently when it doesn't give them that many crashes and everything like that. ESA also hunted down quite a bit for their video setup. There's a lot of different ways to do it all, and to get the right one requires a lot of effort. Otherwise, you're just going to continuously have stream problems and technical issues. So,
I think that's really something that people viewing have no idea about. They don't even think about it. It's just like, oh, here's a game. Let's watch the game. They play the game. Yeah, it goes. You know, like people, if there's any kind of a hiccup, people are like, oh my God, the stream skipping. But they don't know all the kind of crazy shit that goes into putting one game on the screen. And then if you have a race or something, people don't even think about that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes people are just like, oh, it should work, right? It's just showing the game. Or even, oh, well, I stream at home all the time and I have my stream up and running in like 30 seconds. Why does it take them so long to get everything set up? But I mean, if we take into the notorious situation of arcade games,